Ladies and gentlemen, we're ready to begin, and this is how it begins. Adequate notice of this October the 26th, 2017 meeting has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by posting written notice and agenda of the meeting on the bulletin board in the Municipal Building, 1000 Route 10, Township of Hanover, by hand delivering, mailing, or faxing such notice and agenda to the following newspapers: Morris County's Daily Record, the Star Ledger, Hanover Eagle, and by filing same with the Township Clerk. May I have a roll call, please?
Committeeman Faramasca.
Here.
Committeeman Gallagher.
Here.
Committeeman Bruno.
Here.
Committeeman Capola.
Here.
And Mayor Francioli.
Okay, thank you very much.
5 members in attendance.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, would you all please rise and join me in a pledge of allegiance to the flag? We'll do it immediately after. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would you all please remain standing for one moment with me, please? We as a Township Committee wish to add the following to our opening program. And would you please bow your heads with me in prayer? Almighty God, we ask that you bless this governing body with the abundance of wisdom, understanding, so every deliberation will result in actions which will promote the common good and the general welfare for all peoples of Hanover Township, and we say this in your name, amen.
Amen.
All right, Mr. Administrator, where are we here? Proclamation. Have it?
You want me to read it?
Sure, why not?
We have Mr. Dennis Salco here representing the Pancreatic Society to accept the proclamation that we're going to read into the record, Dennis. In a minute, we'll even take a photograph if Mr. Lent can, but we're going to read it into the record first. So this is a proclamation of the Township Committee of the Township of Hanover declaring November 16th, 2017 as World Pancreatic Cancer Day in the Township of Hanover. Whereas in 2017, an estimated 53,670 people will be diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in the United States, and 43,090 people will die from the disease. And whereas pancreatic cancer is one of the deadliest cancers, is currently the 3rd leading cause of cancer death in the United States, and it is projected to become the 2nd leading cause around 2020. Whereas pancreatic cancer is the only major cancer with a 5-year relative survival rate in the single digits at just 9%. And whereas when symptoms of pancreatic cancer present themselves, it is generally in later stages, and 71% of pancreatic cancer patients die within the first year of their diagnosis, while 91% of pancreatic cancer patients die within the first 5 years. And whereas approximately 1,270 deaths will occur in New Jersey in 2017. And whereas pancreatic cancer is the 7th most common cause of cancer-related deaths across the world. And whereas there were an estimated 367,000 new pancreatic cancer cases diagnosed in 2015. And whereas the good health and well-being of the residents of Hanover Township are enhanced as a direct result of increased awareness about the symptoms and risk factors of pancreatic cancer, and research into early detection, causes, and effective treatments. Now, therefore, be resolved by the Township Committee of the Township of Hanover in the County of Morrison, State of New Jersey as follows. 1, that the governing body hereby designates November 16th, 2017 as World Pancreatic Cancer Day in the Township of Hanover. And 2, that all residents of the Township are called upon to become aware of the symptoms and risk factors associated with pancreatic cancer and the importance of early detection. Signed, Ronald F. Francioli, on behalf of the Township Committee. Mr. Salco, do you want to come forward and
We'll present it.
we'll present it to you?
Do you have remarks?
a few words.
By all means, please, at the podium.
Mayor, council, and distinguished guests, on behalf,
Dennis, could you just give us your name and address for the record?
Dennis Salco, I'm a volunteer with the Pancreatic Cancer Action Network, 48 Lincoln Avenue, Florham Park, New Jersey.
Thank you.
On behalf of the New Jersey affiliate of the Pancreatic Cancer Action Network, I'd like to thank you for this important contribution to this national fight against pancreatic cancer. 10 years ago, I lost my beloved Rosalia to pancreatic cancer, and 50 years ago, my grandfather. I joined this group to help in his cause to find a cure. Thank you again for supporting our cause and helping raise awareness with pancreatic cancer. Our group is having a awareness event, a 5K run walk on Sunday, November 12th at the Matt Cowie Center in Parsippany, New Jersey. More information can be found on pancan.org or purplestride.org. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. This past year, here in Hanover Township, this disease does hit home quite hard. We lost a colleague from our recreation department who gave so much to Hanover along the way, but recently this past year, that was Frank Sakala, who succumbed to pancreatic cancer. We mourn his loss as well. So we're proud to sponsor this proclamation for you. Be happy to offer this.
Come right up, Dennis, and the mayor will present the proclamation to you.
Okay. Jim, you want to grab a photo? What do you want to do?
Is that, you want to do
Yeah.
it right here?
Right here's fine. Sure.
Right there?
That's good.
Oh, yeah? In Orca? Oh, yeah?
Excellent.
You got it?
Very nice.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
This is our flyer.
Okay.
You can
Well, we'll copy it, circulate. If you have more, you'd like to leave them in our vestibule, we'll be happy to have our residents take one.
Okay, I'll look and see. Okay. Thank you again.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Joe.
All right, gentlemen, at this time, I'd like to open the meeting to the public for any items not appearing on the agenda.
So moved.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Ladies and gentlemen, the floor is open. If you'd like to address the Township Committee at this time, please do so from the podium, giving us your name and address for the record. Rank and serial number wouldn't hurt either there, Joe.
5258883.
You flew PBYs? Really?
You didn't know that, did you?
I do now.
Good evening, gentlemen. Joseph Mahalko, Whippany section of Hanover Township. Just a reminder, just to shake the trees a little bit. A few months back, Mr. Scagliosi was up here talking about Bee Meadow Pond. We know that there's going to be some timing involved, and that the fall period would be the time when some remediation was going to be done. Are we still following through with that?
Let me turn to my left here, my engineer, and Jerry,
Yes.
you want it for the committee? Go ahead.
Yes, we did. They did have a meeting with the Whippany River Watershed Action Committee to review the plantings. At that time, it was determined they needed some additional expert advice from Rutgers. So they set up a meeting with a Rutgers co-op representative. I'm not sure that meeting has yet occurred, but it's still moving forward, yes.
Okay, because I know
And
that
I know at this time of the year-
committee agreed that the fall would be the time to...
Yeah, and I know typically this is the time of year where the DPW does do the mowing.
Right.
So I know maybe that hasn't occurred yet, but that is on their regular schedule to
Yeah,
do.
Joe, it was my understanding that the Rutgers University rector did come in.
That, right, but
Yeah.
they were,
They were gonna
there was
do
another
meeting?
expert, yeah, that
Okay.
was coming.
Good,
Advise.
as long as
So
it's...
the momentum is on.
Yeah.
Very good, thank you.
Joe, you got to nail them down to dates and times, because otherwise they're going to happen. So to continue with that, though, he came in, the Rutgers had looked at it, examined it. Now they're supposed to give us some sort of
Recommendations.
response in some formal way.
Yes, yeah.
And when did
Yeah.
all this take place?
Only within the last 4 or 5 weeks. So
We'll give
it's
them,
been-
we'll give them another few weeks. How about
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
We're fair. Okay. Very good. Thank you.
How you doing? I'm Rich Campbell, 23 Hubert Street, Whippany. I had a question I wanted to ask.
Could you raise that mic up, Rich? a
Question,
little?
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
My
There you
question
go.
is to the current town council that we have, the committeemen. I would like to know, I think it would be important and helpful to know who you guys are, I don't want to say endorsing, but who you're supporting for the upcoming election. Is a week away. So far, I've only seen one, John Ferramasco, come out on Facebook. I saw it in regards to he's endorsing Mahalco and Cahill, and just really thought it would be interesting and helpful to know who the rest of you are.
It's a fair question. I just wonder if this venue is a
Yeah,
proper
Mayor.
time for it.
Well, I don't think
You know,
it is.
Yeah,
at a
Mayor,
meeting. But-
I would say that, you know, the public can always bring forward any questions, and it's a fair question.
Yeah.
And certainly relevant. But at a meeting that's a township-run meeting, when it comes to endorsements, that should be when you step off the dais. And only because, I just want to give an example, because it's a fair question, that if, let's just say everyone was going to endorse Jerry Massera, then Jerry's opponent would say, you know, I watched on TV, everybody endorsed Jerry, and what about me? So thanks for using a public meeting for me. So the fact that you asked, any one of the committee could answer, but I would just advise them to answer when they step off, you know, the dais tonight.
Thank you. I just would encourage them too. It helps the public out, and thank you all for great work. Thank you.
But I can say, contrary to the council's advice, that will answer you after we leave the dais. There you go.
Well said, well said.
Well, although I'm a little taken aback, you know, that no one's asked for my endorsement, but, you know, could that be the case? Fine. All right, the floor is still open. Anyone else like to address the Township Committee at this time? Seeing none. Hearing none.
close.
Motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hey, Mr. Administrator.
Thank you, Mayor. As we continue with item number 6, we have the approval of the regular minutes of the Township Committee of October 12, 2017. May we have a motion for approval?
So moved.
So moved.
A motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
So approved. We have the following departmental reports that have been filed with my office. They include the report of the Chief of Police of all activities conducted by the Police Department during the month of September. Our construction official has submitted his construction permit activity report for September 2017. And our property maintenance officer, she has submitted her report of all zoning and property maintenance violations and the action taken as of October the 24th. And finally, the township engineer has submitted his capital project status report as of today, and copies of that report were distributed to each member of the governing body. And ladies and gentlemen, as we continue, there are no ordinances on the agenda for public hearing and consideration of adoption. We do have one ordinance docketed as ordinance number 23-2017. This is an ordinance of the Township Committee authorizing the purchase and installation of new lettering for the facades of the municipal building and police headquarters, directional signage, and a new freestanding LED digital message board, and further appropriating the sum of $150,000 from the Capital Improvement Fund of 2017 and all prior years for the financing of the improvements. The ordinance will be published in full with the notice of introduction in the Daily Record, and the public hearing on the ordinance will be established this evening as November 20th at 8:30 p.m. here in the main meeting room. And at that time, any person wishing to be heard will be given an opportunity to speak at the public hearing. So at this time, may we have a motion to introduce the ordinance?
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Francioli, seconded by Mr. Gallagher. On roll call for introduction, Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Ferramasco.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola?
Very much so, yes.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
Mr. Francioli's been asking for this a long time.
They've been at this for 3 years, trying to get us a digital sign so we can put timely information up at any given moment, be it emergency, be it general information. So hopefully, we've turned the corner on this and can do it.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay,
By the
ladies.
way, that's a budgeted amount, that's quite high, so I do fully expect our engineering department to get us a realistic idea of what this sign costs.
Well, the good thing is, just for the members of the public, when we do a capital improvement fund ordinance and there's money appropriated, it doesn't necessarily mean that all the money will be used, so that at the end of the project, when all the projects have been completed, then any unused funds go back to unallocated in the capital improvement fund. So that, I think, is what the mayor is hoping for in terms of his
I am expecting.
recommendation. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we now have the resolutions as a consent agenda, beginning at the bottom of page 1 on to page 2. Items A through E. Are there any questions from members of the Township Committee on
Move
it?
they be approved.
We have a motion by Mr. Capola, seconded by Mr. Bruno and Faramasca in unison. On roll call, Mr. Faramasca,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher,
Aye.
Mr. Bruno,
Aye.
Mr. Capola,
Aye.
and Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
So approved, and on the raffle applications, also as a consent agenda. Are there any questions about any of the...
No question. I'll second the motion of Mr. Capola.
I have a motion by Mr. Capola, seconded by Mr. Faramasca. On roll call, Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Faramasca. Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
So approved. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, that clears the agenda. The Business Administrator, Township Clerk, and I thank you.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. Gentlemen, once again, it's customary for the Township Committee to open the meeting to the public, and we'll have something to say about this in
Yeah.
a second. Motion to open the floor?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, once again, the floor is open. If you'd like to address the Township Committee from the dais, you may do so, giving us your name and address for the record. Seeing none.
Motion to close.
Motion to close. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, gentlemen, Committeeman Gallagher, how's things?
Got a couple for you, Ron. This Saturday is the 10-year anniversary of One Day, One School. It's going to be at Hanover Park High School, and we're ready to go. We have a lot of people ready to work, a lot of companies making big contributions. We're going to be bringing back the barbecue aspect of our event. Godfather Pizza is donating 25 pizzas. I can go down the list. It's going to be a great event. Everybody's welcome. Everybody can man the grill with us. Very excited about bringing back the barbecue aspect. Monday, November 6th at 7 p.m., School and Park Traffic Safety is going to have a public forum at Whippany Park High School at 7 p.m. We're going to put something out publicly, but we'd love to see everybody there to come share with us what they're seeing and some of their traffic concerns in and around any of our schools and parks. November 14th, we're having a program that I announced last time that's not a lot of fun, but we believe it's very important. The Morris County Sheriff's Department is going to be hosting right here in our community center a program on how to best protect your kids against abduction, abuse, and sexual abuse. It's a 3-hour program. It's not going to be fun, but a lot of us have seen it, and Hanover Township wants it here, and it's going to be here. And we'd love to see you there, if possible, November 14th, 6:30 in the community center. And the last thing I want to report, and you'll hear a lot about this, is Men in Arena. We have 10 consecutive Friday nights again with the Hanover Township Substance Awareness Council, the Morris Area Coalition for Education and Positive Choices, and we're going to have a different theme every Friday night. It begins January 5th. It goes to March 9th. So that's it, Mayor.
Thank you, very good. George, I'm going to jump over to you for a second. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. In my landmark commission, we had a meeting this past Tuesday evening. They're moving very nicely with the process for the hedge line on Route 10. I mean, a nice live fence barrier. Of course, you even have to get an architect to design that because it's a historic site. The stone restorations are moving along nicely, as well as the bronze plaques for those stones that are in really bad shape. As far as the veterans issues, there's a breakfast on the November 5th over at the community center. Anyone's interested, stop in. It supports the veterans. For if you're a vet, it's free, and if you're not a veteran, it's very nominal fee. There's also a dedication. That day is real busy. There's about 4 events going on, but 2 of them in town. And there's also a dedication at 3 o'clock, right next to the library, for a plaque that's going to memorialize Lieutenant Slattery. I keep so used to Lance Corporal, but Slattery, who lost his life in Vietnam, Lieutenant Slattery, we're going to have a plaque that's going to be dedicated, sort of a monument in his honor, that's being prepared by the Marine Corps League. So that's going to be on November 5th at 3 o'clock.
There'll be some refreshments afterwards
Yes.
at the center, right?
Yep. Also, on November 9th, the committee is going to get a first-hand presentation of the police new 911 system. It's a state-of-the-art. This is something that, we've been looking to put in a budget for the last several years. Thank goodness we were able to do it this past year, because our system was getting a bit antiquated, and the system has been installed, and we will get a demonstration of it on the 9th, which is going to be a great addition for the public. And I guess lastly, fire department has been doing some demonstrations. We had it at a men's breakfast over at the Presbyterian Church in Whippany on what to do in the event of a storm, all the safety precautions. There's also going to be a notice out. They did have one recently over in Town Hall, at the community center rather. Unfortunately, the turnout wasn't as they had hoped for. So they're coming up with a date for another one, which I'll see if we can't get it put on Facebook so everybody can be aware of it. That's it.
Thanks, George. Very good. Bobby?
Just a few things. First of all, Tuesday, as many of you know, Halloween. Undoubtedly, a lot of kids will be out. We just ask that everybody use a lot of caution. Many of the younger kids go out right after school, and certainly up until 8 o'clock at night. So we just ask that everybody's careful. Now the leaves are out in the streets. Kids are running around, jumping through leaf piles and everything else to get to the next house. So please use all due caution on Tuesday for Halloween, so it's an enjoyable event. And Saturday, after the One Day One School, we'd ask everybody to come over to the Masquerade at Malapartis, another Halloween event. A lot of great sponsors. The town has really come out to support this in a big way. Some of the sponsors, the American Legion, the Cedar Knolls Fire Department, Whippany Fire Department, the PBA, Wegmans, they'll all be there, the Rotary Club, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, handing out candy. So 2 to 4 Saturday, supposed to be great weather. After you've done a little community service over at Hanover Park and had a couple hot dogs, come over to Malapartis and enjoy a little Halloween trick-or-treating. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Yeah, John, you have something.
Yes. Roads. Operation Road continues. We have waited all patiently, those who live in the North Jefferson Road area. It's going to happen. It's going to start. Concrete work is beginning next week, and November 6th, hopefully we'll see milling and paving activity around that time. We thank you for your patience. We look forward to having a smooth North Jefferson Road again. Last Friday, the Economic Development Advisory Committee, commonly known as EDAC, there was a special presentation by that group, and I have 100 pages here to present to you this evening about facts. And the facts that were shared at that meeting pertain to economics and demographics. So what we were learning about that is what's happening nationally, state of New Jersey, as well as Hanover Township in many instances related to job growth, related to property values, office values, home values, demographics. What's happening in terms of demographics trends? Are there shifts in terms of our population? What's happening to our school-age population? What's the forecast over the next 17 years for school-age population? We plan to expand taking this learning that's in this document and sharing it with all of the groups that are involved within Hanover Township, like the Planning Board, like the Board of Adjustment, and any other various groups that would benefit from this type of learning. We'll be getting more information out about that, where and when it will be done. Lastly, I'd like to echo Committeeman Bruno's commentary about Halloween, wishing everyone, young, children, and those who are young of heart, a happy Halloween. Have a great time. Enjoy yourselves. Be safe. And please spend 1 minute when you go home over the next night or 2 nights or so and check the street light out in front of your house. If that light's out, there's a number on it. Please go to the Township website. In the lower left of the front page, there is a link. If you click on it, enter the information and report that light. If you can't do that, access the web, please call the Hanover Police Department. The dispatcher will take the information, just give them the location and the pole number, because we want to promote safety, and having well-lit streets is key to safety. Mayor, that concludes my remarks.
Thank you, John. You can start on that streetlight pole with the one in front of Allegro School on Ridgedale Avenue. It's been out for the last couple of months, so that one needs some attention. We had a wonderful evening this past Wednesday evening with the Freeholder Board joining us here in Hanover Township. I'm sure some of you might have had the opportunity to see it on Facebook and YouTube, and our videographer did a wonderful job of covering that evening. It was nice to have them here. It gave us an opportunity to become more in tune with Hanover's needs. We had a couple of our residents who had questions of them and concerns of them where traffic and traffic lights are concerned, etc. But it was nice to have Director Cabana here and his group also, who presented the township with a very nice resolution from the freeholders as well. And I must admit, we were very, very proud, all of us on the Township Committee, about their compliments of us and our wonderful group of corporate neighbors that we've amassed here, and the new addition of our Wegmans folks. So once again, that was a wonderful evening, and we appreciate it. Echoed the thoughts on Halloween. Have a wonderful, safe time. Keep the toilet tissue off my lawn. It clogs my lawnmower. But beyond that, I think it'll be a wonderful evening for our children, and certainly the affair at Malapartis Park. We had thousands of children there.
Big event.
That's a big event. Get there early. All the little homes are set up, and the kids have a wonderful, safe time, excited time going from little home to home with their bags. So have a great time there. If there's no further business from the Township Committee, a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, public, we're adjourned.
That's not a record, is it?
It's good. It's good. It's not the record, but
What was the record?
It was close.
record was like 23 minutes.
It was close.
Ryan, I'm going to take this back.
Yeah.
But I was close. They got through there, they burnt through there.
Get a hold of these guys for a second.
They burnt through that darn quickly.